It's once again time. It's time for the awesomest game of the awesome Steel Division, where you outplan, outsmart, and outgun. And today we have a huge beta announcement for you. It was a tiny update that might excite you very much. Anders, why don't you talk about that a little bit more in there?
Thank you for that beautiful intro. I can only agree with everything you said.
It was lovely, Nurgle Probe. Howdy, everyone. For once, after several weeks of trying, we are both in the studio at the same time.
Hooray!
It's an exciting time. Not so much for this because this is of course great, but as was mentioned at the top, today marks the first content update to the exclusive beta that you can take part in if you pre-order the game. And we thought we'd go through the new stuff, and then we are going to end today's stream with a replay.
So among the things that we've updated, there are 2 new divisions and 1 new map. We'll be showing you the divisions almost immediately, along with a long range of nice bug fixes and some balancing, because this is what a beta is for. Your feedback has been very valuable, and Eugene is updating this to match.
So both sides, allies and axes, are getting one more division. So now we have 3 divisions to choose from on each side.
Precisely, and this will continue to update. So like getting into the pre-order is still really exciting because in a few weeks we will update with some more maps and some more divisions that people can feedback on all the way up till release.
Yeah.
Where we will give people the whole game. Obviously.
So there will always be content coming throughout the beta up till release. We're not revealing everything just yet. I don't think, at least not on this stream today. But rest assured, there is more content coming, and coming quite fast.
Yeah,
bi-weekly.
So new for this week is the 2nd Infantry, a US division named the Indian Head, and we also have the Axis group. The only Panzergrenadier, I'm sorry to all German speakers, Panzergrenadier divisions in the game. I really like the infantry in this game, and they have, as you can see, quite a bit of recon and a lot of infantry, some of the most in the game.
So, just as a quick question then, because I was previously, of course, I was under the impression that the Scottish division has a lot of infantry.
Mm-hmm.
What's the main difference here?
You shall see. It's in the infantry. What you have is not just infantry. You have a lot of really experienced rangers, and these guys are just as in history.
How they have the all-terrain jeep thing.
Yep, and they're all very experienced. Many of them are veterans, and many of them also have quite a wide array of weapons. So one of the strengths with this division is that you will have plenty of infantry to see you through all of the game, and you can see here in the phase B, you can get a huge stack of infantry for just 1 slot. So you'll never run out of that, but they're also very high quality. For instance, here the leaders here have some frag grenades. Those of you who are playing know how extremely efficient these are against vehicles and infantry groups.
I was going to say,
weapons.
It seems like a good solution for clearing out houses.
It is. It's also a great way. I mean, get these guys in an ambush spot in some bushes, have a supply truck or something come through and frag them. That'll be the end of it. But on top of that, we also have some people with flamethrowers. Still says napalm here. We know it's not. And as I said, they're being veterans. They aim faster. They have better accuracy. They have better morale. It's much harder to get these guys to surrender or to pull back. They're just very good, high-quality units that you can use from very early on in Phase A. So that's one of the differences with the Highland divisions that are also a good infantry division, but they're more of the quantity over quality, I would say. These being mainly ranger-based also means that they have excellent recon from Phase A, of course. Also here some of the famous Marauders, and what's really unique about the Marauders in this case is that they are recon, but they also have anti-tank weapons. So what I like doing with these guys is I pull them up, as with most recon, really far up, so I get an idea what's happening in the battle. But I can also use these for ambushes later, since they have these 60 millimeters anti-tank barrels. So they're sort of versatile, because I feel many recon units are basically good recon, but that's it. This time you can also use them for some pretty good ambushes. So overall, nice. And in phase B, of course, you get some heavier recon. Also exciting about these guys is that they have some of the only amphibious tanks in the game.
So, I mean, that is exciting, but that's kind of only exciting assuming that there's any amphibious assaults going on in game.
Of course. So we don't have any full amphibious assaults as in, from shore to land. But what they can do, if you can see the text here, so you can cross rivers.
Yeah, because there's currently in the maps available, I think it's column. Is it column? I can't remember which one's which.
The Colombo is in.
And that's the one that has the river next to the factory.
Right. And there are more maps.
Surprisingly,
with plenty of rivers.
We do have a question from Trebor, who wants to know if the single-player campaign will be based on operations that took place in Normandy.
It is not based on it. It simply is.
Okay.
There will be three single-player campaigns based on 3 different nations, and all of them are extremely historically accurate. Just a shout out to the completely unique xylophone, called so because it looks like a xylophone. This division in the World War, they were. I don't know how people felt about them when they came, but it was like, okay, so we built a new weapon and you're gonna test it, and they were like, okay, fine, we'll test your new weapon. It's a crazy mortar vehicle. It does exactly what it looks like. It has all these mortar pipes. It does tremendous damage. Personnel damage, I think, is the correct NATO term today. If you wanna turn infantry platoons into
not
slop,
not infantry platoons.
this is the way to go.
We have a question about, will we be able to skip the lobby system with the matchmaking system? I guess that's kind of hard to answer at the moment.
Yes, I think what we can say is that whole system will be updated, and it's going to get better. I'm sorry I can't be more specific right now, but we are working on making that whole experience a bit smoother and work better.
Yeah.
So just bear with us.
Yeah. And my understanding when it comes to the campaign, it is single player. If you want to play, as it were, co-op, the best option would be skirmish with a friend against AI.
That's it. That's exactly right. Panzer Grenadier is somewhere in between a proper tank division and a more mechanized infantry.
Okay.
And it shows they're quite well rounded.
We do have a tank-related question if the King Tiger will be added to the game. And I think when it comes to specific units, I guess the answer right now is wait and see, because that would be kind of spoiling what divisions are coming.
That is true. But since we have in the reveal, some of the reveal interviews, we have already said that the Königstiger is in the game.
No.
So I'll say that much. But otherwise,
there's a busted Königstiger in the middle of a hedgerow in one of the maps.
Standing there.
Yeah, that's definitely.
You'll see the Königstiger. Patience, Jörn Padawan. Patience. Some very iconic things. Every good World War II movie about Normandy has these. This is the flak, and there's the flak Vierling, because it has 4 flaks, or flak guns. Also, where the expression "taking flak" comes from.
I've seen some comment from people about the anti-air in the game that it might be hard to shoot down airplanes using them. Do you have any comments on that? Because I know we talked about it previously, that it's not necessarily always used for just shooting down airplanes.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. This is being balanced as we speak. We will continue to balance the game endlessly, kind of. But one of the big benefits with the flak is that you shoot down airplanes, and you can then angle it down and shoot at infantry, vehicles, etc. And not to forget, sometimes you don't need to destroy an airplane to make it ineffective.
Yeah.
I mean, plenty of times airplanes will come in, they'll take a lot of flak literally and decide I'm not going to be here because the stress levels get too high and they get out.
Yeah.
So you can still make them ineffective by not
Yeah.
still not destroying them, which is what real warfare looks like. The artillery is where this group really comes to life.
What
think
is that?
We're sort of running out of time here with these things, but let's just say they have a lot of it. I'm not even going to pronounce this.
Nebelwerfer.
What you said. Damage of 30. Once again, this is an anti-personnel nightmare, and you get them in phase B for only 100 requisition points. You have one pretty unique thing here, which is the Junker armed with the tank buster rockets. They're not extremely accurate, so tank busting is still going to be hard.
Yeah.
But I like you could use this along with a larger offensive, and you'll definitely bust some tanks.
We have a question about what exactly pushes the battle line back and forth, number of units, unit strength, etc. And my understanding is that it's mostly what the units know. Kind of in. But
Actually,
I'm sure you can explain it a lot better.
It's pretty straightforward, but not that simple. So any units will push back the moving front line.
If we're going to have an explanation, I want it paused.
Let's see bullet time. You like bullet time?
I do like
it's
bullet
pretty.
time.
I like bullet time is pretty. So what happens is any unit can push back the front line, except for recon units, because recon units are you don't see them, right? So basically what that represents is, I can see that area is not controlled by my guys, it's controlled by your guys.
Yeah.
That's what the front line is. So recon units don't do that because you don't see them.
Yeah.
Anything else will push the line back. Of course, if you encircle a troop completely, then they can't hold the front line because they're surrounded. The exception to that is airborne units and command units.
Yeah.
Because they're command units, they are command literally, and airborne units are. You know what I'm gonna say? We're airborne. We're supposed to be surrounded.
Exactly.
So that's how it works.
We could look more into this, but our time is unfortunately up. I think the main takeaway for this stream is that there's new stuff in the game now. If you have access to the beta, go play it. 2 new divisions, 1 new map, which we actually just mentioned and didn't actually look at.
Yeah,
maybe we should we go take a quick look at the map? Do we have time for that?
We can take a quick look at the map.
We can't get out of here before looking at the map.
Let's see, cut to another screen so we don't add too many spoilers, and I'll bring it up here. Right now you're seeing everything that's new about this week. 2nd Infantry, 17th SS Grenadiers, and the new map. So what you see here is the Omaha map. We don't play the beach storming because seriously, what sort of tactical challenge would that be? Run, get shot at, not instructed. This is the battles that happened the days, weeks, and actually months after the invasion. So you can see you have a pretty long front line, and you're gonna have to control. You have 2 big roads on each side that you're gonna have to control.
And there's one massive one just going through it horizontally from this one.
Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorite maps because what's so interesting about it is it has all these open fields. It has some towns that you're gonna have to control, but you really get to see the Bukaj hell. I mean, you can really max out the infantry on here. You have so many hiding spots, so many ambush spots, so many. There's so many ways to mess with tanks here, which I like.
The thing that's I find interesting as well is the fact that since this is the 4v4 version, just looking at where people actually where the setup is, there aren't that many roads just going straight across the map. It's actually kind of in some cases it's going to take a while to get to the front line if you're tasked with holding the middle.
Oh yeah, I mean this 4 versus 4. So what usually happens is one player will be over here, one here, one here, and one here. So you'll have lanes basically. So I'll be responsible for the right lane, and you'll take the middle lane or something. So it will actually be quite different depending on what lane you get. Every time I played, I think I've been on this edge sort of, so I'm very used to storming this this area right
Yeah.
here. But it's definitely one of my favorite maps because once again, it has fields, but also this Bukar shells. It does a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
great. We possibly should have looked a bit more at that map earlier. But once again, now I'm actually going to end this stream
It's over.
since I couldn't manage to do it earlier because we did have to show off Omaha. We will be back next week.
We'll be back next week, and we'll show. Have we told them what we're going to show?
No.
Okay, let's keep it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see. I need to double check with Pierre-Yves if they are streaming tomorrow. I know that both Alexis and him are actually here in Stockholm right now recording some stuff for us. So I'm not 100% sure, but regardless, we might want to double check your social media for everything Steel Division and see if there's a stream tomorrow. I should have double checked this before I started the stream, but I forgot.
Oh,
So,
well,
yeah,
it's what it is.
Very professional of me.
You can still, if you don't want to just look at us and others streaming, you can actually play it right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but you could also like just re-watch this thing again and experience all the highs and lows. I should stop rambling, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. See you next time.
Ciao.